Every now and again, I get an email in my inbox asking me to collab with another channel to do a video together to talk about something, that we might hold in common. And most of the time, I don't know. I just have not. There's been a few times over the years, but very rare do I find someone I'm like, okay, I really want to do that. I talk to that person about. There's lots of people out there I'd love to talk to. I just can't get them to respond to me. And I don't reach out all that often, but the ones who usually reach out to me doesn't go anywhere. So that happened last week. A channel, it was not the channel that reached out to me. I guess it was a representative of the channel, company that they're working with. Anyway, it was not a very big channel, less than 100,000 subscribers, and they wanted to do a collaboration video about chickens. It's a chicken channel. And I'm like, okay, that, halfway, let's talk about chicken. So I went over to the channel, I started watching a couple videos, and I'm like, oh no. No. So this is a person who lives in maybe semi-rural suburbia. I'm just going by what I saw from the couple videos that I watched, who is an admitted bleeding heart. And she has her entire chicken run, or entire chickens, all of her chickens are kept in a giant run that's completely, covered. So there's no free ranging. She doesn't believe in free ranging her birds. And she says, yes, there's predators out there, but I don't agree with dispatching the predators. And she says, because the predators are important. They help keep down the mice and rat population. So let's let the predators live. And meanwhile, I won't let my chickens free range, and so we'll all be happy. I'll keep them enclosed in this giant enclosure that's covered and everything, and I'll just let the predators be because they're important to the rat and mice population. Lady, I don't know about you, but my chickens will eat rats and mice. In fact, I had a guy the other day just tell me that his rooster went over and clobbered a giant rat, ate what it wanted out of it, and then basically fed it to the hens. Plus, we have cats here. So I'm like, if you're a raccoon or a possum or some fox or whatever, bobcat, and you're trying to get my chickens and I can get a clear line of sight of you, it's over. It is over. I will take you out quicker than a pokey poke heart attack. So I'm like, not to mention, outside of her giant chicken run, she had this giant Buddha statue. And I'm like, okay, we're done here. All right. Anyway, my chickens serve the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. No Buddhas here. I don't talk to Buddha people. Anyway, all that to say, my chickens, leave a comment below if your chickens are the same way, but my chickens are like tiny little dinosaurs. In fact, I've got a little sign out there that Tim put up that it says, beware of tiny dinosaurs. They will take care of all your rats and mice. If they see them, they will absolutely eat them. So that's one thing. I'm going somewhere with this. So the other day also, there's this whole big push in Michigan and other states as well about trying to regulate homeschool. And I posted a video, or I posted an article out there, and I said, don't regulate our homeschools, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, a woman comes back and she says, we need more regulation of homeschoolers. We need this regulation. In fact, we need it everywhere. And I was just like, what? And so we began an argument. And I went over to her profile, looked at her profile, and she's from my state, which is a red state. And her profile is described as a blue voter in a sea of red. And she's an off-grid homesteader. Now, I don't understand how you can be an off-grid homesteader and a liberal at this point. And we're going to talk through this. And we're just going to explore some things. Explore some realities of the world we're currently finding ourselves in. And we're going to see if is it possible to be a liberal homesteader? I think no. If you call yourself a liberal, bleeding heart homesteader, a blue voter that happens to exist in a sea of red, you're not living in reality. Not at this point. You're completely disconnected. So here we go. My response to this woman, because she told me, Son, I've been homesteading off-grid longer than you've probably been alive. Okay. Listen, I am not above trying to learn things from my elders. Okay, that you can learn a lot from your elders. You should have an open mind and open ears when it comes to learning from your elders. But I think that you're faking it at this point. If you're telling me all this, you're full of baloney. Because if you're an off-grid homesteader, there's no way you could be raising animals because all the people that you're voting blue for are trying to take those things away from you. There's no way you can have a wood stove at this point or a propane stove at this point because all the people you're voting blue for are trying to take those things away from you. There's no way that you could be a hunter and hunt for deer around here like we live, and she was from my state, because all the people you're voting blue for are trying to take those evil, nasty guns away from you. There's no way you could drive a tractor or a truck today, especially one of those nasty diesel ones, because all the people you're voting blue for are trying to take those things away from you. And at that point, of course, I got blocked. I mean, I didn't even, come on, let's stay and play, Let's explore this a little bit. See, you give them a little bit of dose of reality and they just don't want to play anymore. But that's what's happening right now. My case in point. Let's take a look at this. The New York Attorney General, blue state, Letitia James, says, I'm suing JBS Foods USA, the world's largest beef producer, for misleading the public about its environmental impact. The beef industry is one of the largest contributors to climate change, and JBS has falsely advertised its commitment to sustainability and endangered our planet. These are the kind of people who want to rule your life. You can't be an off-grid homesteader and raise, have beef cattle. They're going to take it away from you. They've made it very clear they want to take it away from you. They're going to sue the world's largest beef producer. And trust me, Letitia James, she's doing this because she knows the courts, at least in her state, and in her region, are stacked in her favor, and she will pull this off. She's going to bankrupt, that means put out of business, the world's largest beef producer. The largest beef producer in the world. You guys, have you not seen all of the cattle ranches and food packing plants that have just somehow burst into flames over the last few years? Did you miss all those? Now we're talking about the world's largest beef producer, like in the world. And they're going after them to put them out of business because they're destroying the environment. They're destroying the planet. If you're a homesteader who likes to eat meat, but in some skewed version of reality, you're voting blue.
That doesn't make sense.
I don't get it. I don't get it at this point. I don't get it. If you are a gun owner, if you drive a pickup truck, if you have a tractor, if you raise chickens, you're talking about people who want you to eat crickets to save the planet, and you're raising chickens? You're a bleeding heart chicken owner? See, you're doing this as a hobby. The rest of us in the room, see, we have figured out, we can read the writing on the wall. We see the trajectory of where this is going, and we're trying to prepare because there's going to come a time when you're not going to be able to buy these things in the store anymore. And I want to be able to raise them for myself. There may come a time when they come marching on our homesteads and start taking these things away, and at which point our lives are over because we're going to not comply with that, and there will be a gun battle, and probably will die because they have more assets and resources to throw at the problem than we do in order to stand up to that. But until that day, we can see the trajectory of where things are going. If you're still voting for this insanity, this is the reason why red states are telling people from California, please don't come here unless you're going to change the way you voted before. because you're bringing that insanity here. Don't come from New York. Don't come from the state of New York and vote the way you did to get people like Letitia James inside of that position of power, and then come here and vote the same way and then still eat beef. Oh my good. I'm sorry. You can't be a liberal homesteader. Not anymore. Because the lines are too clearly, in front of you. You're either going to be one or the other. You can't live in this dream world anymore.
You've been living in a dream world, Neo.
It's not possible. Am I crazy? Am I wrong? Leave a comment below. There's no, you can't do it. You can't do it. There's a lot of people out there. I see a lot of people on YouTube. There's a lot of YouTube channels out there that are hobbyist homesteaders, that are hobbyist chicken farmers, they're hobbyist goat farmers. They have animals that serve no purpose other than entertainment. And that's what, this other woman was doing with her chickens. It's her entertainment. She's not using them because she understands that one day she's not going to be able to get eggs. Because if that was the case, she's not letting them free range. They're not out there scratching and getting their own protein out of bugs and grasses and things like that are out there. No, she's feeding them. And then one day when she can't go to Tractor Supply anymore and get her chicken feed, she won't have any way to feed her chickens because she's got them enclosed and, she didn't really do anything about the predators. She doesn't have the heart capacity to take out the predators in order to protect her chickens, which is really protecting her food source. You're playing a game. You have a hobby. That's what you're doing. You have a hobby. Now, the rest of us are in it to survive, and because we see the writing on the wall. Again, love to hear your thoughts on this. Hey, over you guys at patreon.com, you guys are joining our Patreon. We're getting these books. These are expensive books. If you buy them on Amazon, you're going to pay at least $800 for one and $900 for the other. The reason they're so expensive is because of the information contained within. It's very valuable. And if you join my Patreon at least $1 a month, I'm going to give you these PDFs for free. In fact, they're the updated versions. These are the second edition. I'm going to give you the third and final edition before they went out of print. So you're going to get the latest and greatest of these books that are very, very expensive. It doesn't tell you how to make a tincture. It tells you why to make a tincture. Okay, that's something that those big corporations don't want you to even think about. And as an added bonus, starting today, I just put a post up there over at patreon.com of a company because a couple of patrons found this company because a lot of the patrons were like, Zach, I really want to get those books, but I can't find a great way to print them out. It's so expensive to print them. And it is. You can go to places, and I had people come to me and say, Zach, it was like a couple $100 to print those books, or at least $100 to print those books, and that was in black and white. There was a couple patrons out there that found a source where they could get them printed affordably and in color. So if you stick around, go over to patreon.com, join my Patreon, and I'll show you where you can get these printed. That's going to be less than $60. Both books in color. Fantastic. Listen, this is great stuff. This is stuff that was written back in the 1800s by this guy, A.B. Howard. You're not going to be able to find this anywhere. Okay, these are very, very valuable books. Why do you use these things? Why? This is my medicine cabinet right here. These books. I'm just telling you right now. I have other resources too, but these are my go-to. This is my go-to medicine cabinet. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know what you think about the hobbyists out there. These hobbyist homesteaders voting blue in a sea of red. What insanity. See you next time in the Homestead. Bye. Have you ever gone to a health food store and seen all those small bottles of probiotics in your cooler section? Man, can they be pricey. Are you really getting all you need to improve your gut health from those expensive bottles? How viable are they? Most of those products claim to give you between 8 and 15 strains of gut-healthy healing bacteria. Think of each strain of bacteria as a different factory in your gut. Each factory is responsible for breaking down that food in its own way. The more factories you have, the more the food is broken down and the easier the food is absorbed and digested by the body. A 2018 study published by the National Library of Medicine shows that one fermented head of cabbage can produce up to 114 strains of beneficial bacteria. That's a lot more food factories than you're getting from that expensive pill bottle. And that's just cabbage. Imagine the probiotics when you add garlic, onions, pepper, and more to that ferment. PerfectPickler.com and its home fermentation kits provide you with everything you need to get started making your own gut-healthy food factories from the comfort of your own kitchen. PerfectPickler.com even provides a jam-packed recipe book with many of our kits. Visit PerfectPickler.com and start fermenting your own veggies to begin your journey to better gut health. That's PerfectPickler.com.
Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the homestead that we make here on the homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. I'll wait.